I got the need. I got the need. I got the need for speed. Wrong movie. Yes, I know, but still, it's applicable. How's it going, everyone? Cactus Man here, back with another video. I hope that you guys. I haven't finished my coffee yet, so forgive me. Okay. Um. How's it going, everyone? Texas Man here, back with another video. I hope that you guys, of course, having a wonderful day. If you guys would, please give this video a thumbs up if you guys do enjoy it. Subscribe, of course, if you guys have not already. Also, make sure you guys do me the biggest favor of all. Hit that bell notification button. Select all for all notifications so you guys don't miss out on future content here on the channel. And as always, if you guys have any movies, shows, or games you guys want me to cover here on the channel, please let me know in the comment section down below. We're, of course, going to be talking positives and negatives, talking about the newest film here from 2025, F1. The film is rated PG-13, and it is about 2 hours and 40 minutes long. I'll get into that runtime later on in the video. Okay? So, the film stars Brad Pitt, and it is made by the exact same people, the same group that helped make Top Gun Maverick. First thing I want to talk about is the soundtrack. This is a soundtrack I'm buying. This film's soundtrack is awesome. There's not a lot of movies or shows or games that come out, like video games, that have soundtracks that I'm just like, must buy. This film, while I'm watching it, I'm just like, I knew for a fact, immediately after the movie ended, I wanted to buy the soundtrack. Now, what I mean by the soundtrack is I wanted the soundtrack by Hans Zimmer. And that's what the soundtrack is by. Now, just to let you guys know real quick, there are two different versions of the soundtrack that you guys can purchase. So there is a version of this F1 soundtrack that you can buy. And it's just the songs by other artists. And then there's another version of the soundtrack for F1, where you get all the songs from a bunch of other artists and whatnot that put songs into this movie. But then you also get a CD that has all of the actual music by Hans Zimmer on it that's in the film. So just make sure that, you buy, if you're going to buy, the proper version. So make sure you guys are checking to make sure you guys get what you actually want. Because there is two different versions of the soundtrack album for this movie. The soundtrack, though, is just, it's wonderful. There's not a lot of, like I said, a lot of movie shows or video games that have soundtracks that I'm actually interested in purchasing. The last movie that had a soundtrack that I fully loved was Interstellar. And then before that, Tron Legacy. And then before that, the Lord of the Rings. And in terms of TV shows, I've never found a show that had like an amazing soundtrack. Like there's some like moments in them, but I'm just like, eh. And then when it comes to like video game music, Halo and Destiny has always just been top notch for me. And so most of them I own digitally. This is just another movie that I'm going to be buying the soundtrack and adding it to my collection because I think it was phenomenally well done. Sadly, this film lacks originality. Now you might be thinking, what? What? Yeah. If you've seen any sort of sports movie, if you've seen any sort of racing film, you have seen this story told before. Okay? This film lacks original ideas, concepts, plots, characters, and story. If you've watched anything racing, whether it's Cars, Gran Turismo, or any film similar where an old guy that lost his chance to become the world champion at whatever it is, he ends up getting an offer to train the new guy. There's a love story that starts for one of the main characters. Something tragic happens to one of them during the movie. And then the film ends with the old guy winning his second chance and proving that he still has it in him to be the best at whatever it is. And then the new guy that's been trained, he takes over the leadership role of the new team, and he goes on to pursue fame and glory. And, he also has learned some humility and other morals throughout the course of the movie. So if you've seen that type of a movie, you have seen the literal plot and character arcs of F1. There's nothing groundbreaking, there's nothing formula changing, and that's okay. You know, when something works, don't try to fix it. I just wish they did something different. And I get this is like, you know, a movie that, like, if it came out 10, 20 years ago, it probably would have gotten hidden with everything else and all the shuffle. And it is refreshing to see something so basic just be so good. The sound design and the camera work, phenomenal. It's fantastic. The performances from everybody are great. But make no mistake, this is Brad Pitt's movie. Brad Pitt does a lot of the heavy lifting. 95% of this movie is about him. It's about his past, his regrets, and what he is doing presently to try to make up for all those mistakes that he has made in the past. Next thing I want to talk about is the length. This film was way too long. Okay, this film is like 2 hours and 40 minutes long, and you definitely feel it. There was a point in the movie where there's this dialogue between three characters, and then it becomes dialogue between two characters, and these scenes, these transition scenes from the end of Act 2 entering Act 3, which is the big finale race, this goes on for about 10 to 15 minutes, and it got to a point where I'm like, okay, nothing really phenomenal is happening. So I literally walked out of the theater, took a pee break, came back, asked my friends and family that I was watching this with, what did I miss? And they're like, nothing. I'm like, good. Like, it's really bad that at my age, I could tell when nothing's going to happen. I literally could leave the theater for about 2 minutes, come back, and I'm like, it's one of those moments in a movie where it's like, okay, this is where you can pause it, or this is where you can, like, rotate your laundry and not have to pause the movie, and that's one of the problems. So, like I said, there's just like 15 minutes or so of stuff that's just boring character development. It's supposed to be character development, but it's stuff that we've already been told, and it's like, okay, I know all this. I really don't care. Can we get back to the racing, please? So, yeah. Overall, I think F1, it's a great film. And I definitely believe that it deserves to be watched on the loudest and the biggest screen possible. There is no sex, there is no nudity, there is no woke garbage. This is just a pure, good feeling action movie. It doesn't berate you. It doesn't say, oh, you're a straight white man, you suck. There's none of that crap. It is a straight, basic racing film. And no pun intended, but the formula for a good racing film is here. And this is something that filmmakers, directors, producers, writers, they need to follow. Because this works. It just works, okay? Like Tom Howard said a couple years ago. It just works. I wish, like I said, there was some newness. Something that helped break the mold of the story without making it an immoral story, if that makes any sense. So, overall, I'm going to give F1 an 8 out of 10. Thank you guys for watching. Look forward to my review of Jurassic World Rebirth coming soon. I'm planning on seeing that on the 4th. So, I will have that out to you guys as soon as humanly possible. Have a great day, guys. Peace out.